Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Monday. I feel a sneeze coming on. I was kind of holding it off, so I don't know what's going to happen. Ooh, that one almost hurt. Anyways, so if you read the description, you'll know I'm referring to Madame Leota at Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, but my head is not floating in a bubble or a crystal ball. No, I'm not sure. Well, my brain cells are still repopulating after being sick, but for some reason, I really, it wasn't out of laziness or anything or not being able to get my brain to work. I really could not get into any subject that I have that I keep piling in the books for when to do things. So I was just kind of like, I kept feeling the oracles today. So we're going to start the week with some guidance. All right. In fact, I even chose the right shirt. It's a play on Game of Thrones. That's what I do. I drink coffee and I know things. That's what it says down here. Oh, I hate people and I know things. I know. I don't hate people today. Not yet. Haven't been outside yet. So, just kidding. But, oh, it's going to be one of those days. Anyways, so if you're here, there's a reason, okay? Because I really felt drawn to do this today. It wasn't like, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to do oracles. No, I really felt drawn to do this today. And I kind of wanted to do it on Thursday, but I was like, nope, I have a subject. I'm going to do this, and that is how it's going to be. Ta-da! So there you go. I'm looking at my hair. My hair looks strange today. I think it's because it's straight on my bangs. And anyways, enough of that. I'm like poodle hair. I had poodle hair today. But, and first, coffee. Anyways, good morning, Muddy. Older sibling, poor thing, didn't get to sleep until the wee hours of the morning, so I suspect it'll just be Muddy and I today. So for all of you watching later, well, although older sibling really doesn't say a lot, so, yeah, I know. My squirreling is hard at work today. Just like, doing all kinds of things while I'm trying to talk to you. So anyways, let's do the Oracle guidelines. Oh, that's what I was saying. If you are here, please don't leave, okay? Because like I said, I felt very compelled, like somebody out there that watches this now or later is going to need a message today. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is you're looking for, but I have 3 decks. If we have time, I'll pull the dragons out. But if I stop yammering, we should be okay. All right. So, I'm going to read you the guidelines because otherwise I just ramble through them. Do not worry where the message is coming from. I only work from a good place. So if you're seeing this, there's a reason you are here. All right. Got that. Number 2, do not make a card fit your question if it does not resonate with you. Forcing an outcome or an answer not meant for you can cause unnecessary stress and overthinking. If it feels like it maybe hits a little bit of something, put a pin in it and go back to it later. All right. Number 3, I will give you the message I received and the message from the book because someone took the time to write it and put it together. And number 4, angels, God, heaven, etc. might come up. Feel free to insert your higher power or the universe. This will help the flow of the reading without stopping to clarify, which I think I still do anyways, whenever I hear God in there or the universe or whatever it is, so I need to stop that. There's a reason I wrote that last line on there. So I need to stick with it. All right. We're going to go back. Well, no, this is the way I pulled them out and this is the way we're going to go. So we're going to go with the enchanted unicorns first. So, ta-da! All right, let's see what we got. How are you this morning, buddy? You doing okay? Again, happy Monday to everybody. I know, Mondays. I mean, I think there's another reason why they do the oracles, right? Because, it's Monday. So, ooh, see, I knew it was the right choice because there's a crow sitting outside of my window. Okay, so maybe someone can help me with this. I've never really been able to tell the difference between a crow and a raven. And there's just one out there, but it looks really big. Now, I think ravens are purple. because I had a really cool story once. So when I was still working in Costa Mesa, a friend of mine and I were like, yeah, you know, let's do lunch somewhere else. Let's get out. And they had across the way, still part of the property management's property. They had a plaza designed by a very famous Japanese designer who's, I apologize, cannot remember his name right now, but he had designed it for different aspects of California. And part of it, there was this big slope that was supposed to be like the redwoods. And I was just laying there. My friend was sitting on the bench reading her book. I was laying on the grass. And a raven came by and literally just like a foot away from me, just kind of like, I'm not sure if he was trying to figure out if he could eat me or not because I was laying on the ground, or if he was just kind of like, you're curious. And we got curious together, and he just hung around until, I mean, he never moved. Even when I just kind of like, you know, when I'd move, he just kind of moved back a little bit, but he just kept spying me like it was interesting. All right, only 2 cards are coming out. So, but it was such it was such a cool moment because this sweet bird was just kind of like, I'm curious about you. And just, or I don't know, maybe we were vibing together. Who knows? Oh, Muddy, I'm sending you high vibes. I'm sending you high vibes, okay? I know, I'm kind of feeling the low vibes too. But I think, like I said, I think the population of brain cells is still reforming. Oh, ignite. Ignite that high vibe. So opportunities are flowing in. Opportunities are flowing in. All right. I don't know. This is going to sound dumb, but I feel like there's one more card in here trying to get out, and I don't know which one it is. I did a reading for myself last week because Beltane is Friday. I think Friday's May 1st. There it is. So I was a little excited about that because I've never really looked at a lot of these different things the way I am now in my later years, and less afraid of going to hell. But I really don't think I'm going there. I think hell is a personal place that you go to until you fix your shit, and then you can vibe high in your spirit form. So anyways, ignite. I don't know what this mystery card is, and I'm not going to look at it till the very end because that was like the surprise card. But we have 1000 and ignite. So let's read ignite. Opportunities flowing in. And this one says what? A gazania? I have no idea what a gazania is. But all my flower people out there probably do. So it's, yeah. The gorgeous red and yellow striped gazania, as portrayed by this beautiful unicorn, like a model, right? The gorgeous red and yellow striped gazania flower is associated with power and creativity. Ooh. Its bright energy unblocks repressed thoughts and old ideas, leading to renewed passions and personal freedom. Gazanias grow in tough conditions, needing little water and care, and yet every year they bloom into magnificent flowers. They are also known as the treasure flower. They kind of sound like succulents, don't they? Needing little water. Although, believe it or not, I managed to kill those too. So, not exactly a plant person. I would love to be a plant person, but I just don't think it's in the cards for me. She is pretty, isn't she? Look at that. She got a crown and everything. I'm not sure if they all have crowns. Oh, oops. I picked up the wrong card, but I knew this one was going to come out. I knew it. I knew it. For some reason, I saw it, and then I shuffled, and then it just kind of, you saw it slide up. But yeah, I guess they all kind of have crowns, right? Their own version of a crown. So, but yes, ignite. She's a beauty. She's a beauty. And honestly, I didn't feel this third card until Muddy said that she was low vibing. So for all of you low vibing, I'm very excited for you to see this card. Again, I accidentally picked it up. I was looking for this one. So anyways, this is the boom card. Boom. All right, this is the boom card. Physical, emotional, and spiritual blocks are being blasted away with fresh new energy. Old stale patterns are being replaced. Hold on to your hat when this card appears. You are about to be offered plenty of new opportunities for growth. If you have been feeling in the doldrums lately and asking yourself, what's the point? This card heralds a time of passions being reignited after a period of dormancy. Try saying yes to invitations and opportunities that you would normally say no to. The Ignite Unicorn encourages you to explore healing techniques that use energy such as Reiki, chakra balancing, massage, yoga and meditation. If you ever need any Reiki, I do that too. I know, I am a Reiki master. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say it like that, but yeah, I studied for that one too. This can help kickstart the flow of good energy through your body and clear away any emotional blocks that have been holding you back. It can also teach you the Ho'oponopono, which is quite a fabulous thing, and I 100% love it. So, your unicorn magic. Ask the unicorns to help you with this powerful little spell. Gazania Good Fortune Charm. So you need 1 gazania flower, 1 piece of square gold paper, adhesive tape, and 1 felt tip pen. So this feels like those cooking shows, right? Where they say, I'm going to give you a simple recipe of everything that you have in your cabinet, and you have absolutely nothing in your cabinet. I don't even know what a gazania flower looks like. Where the hell am I going to find one? Okay, so here's the thing. And I'm not sure that this necessarily works, okay? But, here you go. It says it right here. Ideally, you would use a fresh gazania flower for this spell, but if you can't procure one, try your hand at drawing one or printing out an image of one. That was going to be my suggestion. Take the flower and place it in the middle of the piece of paper, gold side facing out. Gently fold each corner around the flower so that it forms an envelope and secure with adhesive tape. Write 888 on the front of the envelope. This little charm will kickstart the flow of golden opportunities into your life with the number 8 appearing 3 times, said to attract triple fortune. Yes, 8 is an infinity symbol, but it is also a symbol of, things starting to go the right way. Whereas like 999 is kind of a completion number, and 000 means, woo, you hit the top. So, because the 000 can either be the very beginning of a journey or the end of a journey. Only you know which one you're at, though. All right. So, it's so cute. I didn't realize that the card, the mystery card that I picked is literally the next card. So anyways, I was hoping for that one too. So if you know me and you know this deck, you know it's probably a very special card to me. So 1000, number 18. Remember? So yeah, so with the gazania, just give yourself an opportunity. If you're just going to sit around and do nothing, you can, get yourself back into the world, get yourself moving, get yourself, even outside, get some sunshine. Okay. I mean, before it gets super duper hot, get some sunshine. You are a plant. I mean, what is that one meme? You're a plant, but with more complicated feelings. You need watering, which is basically and you need feeding, right? You need sunlight. So yeah, you're just a plant with feelings, with complicated feelings, all right? Plants are just kind of like, I'm just going to sit here and grow, and I'm going to look pretty, and I'm going to be amazing about it, all right? So, But humans, we have feelings. So get out there and be less complicated and just, go do your thing. Go do your thing. It's time. It's time to get off your butt and go do those things. I know, I'm partly talking to myself too, so. Here we go. 1000. I'm pretty sure you can guess which this one is just by the plant on the top of her head and the little design. I think that's a Celtic symbol. But see, Muddy's out on the patio getting sunlight. She is a plant with, with feelings, getting sun. She's probably hydrating while she's doing that. So there you go. See? So 1000, deeper understanding the lotus flower, also known as Nelumbo nucifera. Lucifera. I know, or Nucifera. That kind of sounds like a magic spell, doesn't it? Nalumba Nucifera. Anyways, I'm sorry for Lucifera. I'm in a mood today. Anyways, the lotus plant has long been thought of as a representation of the human condition. Its roots thrive in the watery, muddy depths of the rivers and ponds, representing our connection to the coarse, physical world. However, the stunning lotus flower surges above the water's dark surface, seeking the light, its petals opening and fanning out like the 1,000-petal crown chakra. I always have problems saying this. The crown chakra. Sahasrara. Okay, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. I've been able to work my way through the chakras and their Sanskrit terms, but That one is always just kind of blown my mind. Maybe when you say it, that's when you've achieved crown chakra status. But anyways, this bloom represents our soul, our divine being, which always seeks a higher order. The lotus flower symbolizes purity, fertility, and beauty. Now, here's the thing. I like this part. Its roots thrive in the watery, muddy depths of the rivers and ponds. And if you've ever seen a lotus flower, I've never seen one that I know of, okay? But I have seen them in pictures, and they're absolutely beautiful. And the lotus root is one of the flowers, or the lotus flower is one of the flowers that they use if, when you're journaling about, maybe you're on a healing journey, maybe something's been bothering you. You may come across something if you read enough things while you're on your journey about the lotus flower, because that's kind of how we are when we're in the depths of something, whether it's a healing journey or you're just going through something right now. We are that lotus flower that is ready to bloom. But we're sitting in that murky, muddy, dank water, getting stronger, getting ready so that we can push up. And, and then when that plant unfurls and shows its beauty, it's basically you saying, I'm ready to be back in this world. So only you have only you can make the decision when you are ready to come out of that muddy, river water or that muddy pond water. But don't wait so long to do it. So yeah, exactly what Muddy said. No mud, no lotus. And I think that's very important for us to remember that, especially if you're on a healing journey. You may feel like, oh, this, oh, that. And I get it, okay? Because I've been on one of those. And it was hard. It was very hard. It was like being that lotus root in the murky water going, does this ever get better? And then one day you just wake up and you're the flower and you're like, wow, the world looks so different now, and it takes time. Okay. You can't force yourself through. If you dealt with one thing and you feel like, why am I still dealing with this? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes you were re-shown things over and over again so that you're slowly getting rid of it. You see, when we start to heal things, especially really, really bad things, it doesn't just go away like that. It slowly works its way out. It's almost like you're being weaned from that bad memory or that bad feeling or that horrible place that you were in. You're being weaned off of it so that you don't constantly turn back to it and want to sit there in it. That's why healing journeys can be so difficult, so scary, and so hard. And that's why sometimes, I'm being honest with you, if you feel like you were not strong enough or you don't have a very good support group, or even if you have a very good support group, I still suggest therapy if it's something really, really deep and dark, all right? Because this is just, I know a lot of people think it's just babble, all right? But these are people that kind of help you work through it. And, it's an unbiased person, okay? It's somebody who's sitting there, and yeah, you're paying them to listen to you, but they're helping you work through whatever it is that you need to go through without, them, they're just there, okay? It's almost like talking to a wall. Except the wall will try to guide you. They don't tell you how to think. A good therapist will not tell you how to think. They'll ask you questions. That's why they'll sit there and say, how does this make you feel? Because a lot of times we're afraid to ask ourselves that question. And we kind of mock that now, right? Like, how does that make you feel? But it's honest. Because when you're going through something horrible, you don't always ask yourself that feeling. How does that make you feel? So, let's get to the rest of this. So 1,000 years ago, humans were striving for the same things we still pursue today: love, food, water, warmth, shelter, and safety. In this respect, the world has not changed. Once our basic needs are met, the 1,000 unicorn inspires us to concentrate on our spiritual side and develop... Did I pull the right one? Oh, yeah. Wait, what happened to the other one? Oh, right. It's in my book. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Anyways, the 1,000 unicorn inspires us to concentrate on our spiritual side and develop a strong connection to our angels and guides, or, your higher powers. See, I did it. Practices like meditation, energy work, prayer, channeling, and taking care of the soul will open up a whole new world. Focusing on this area in your life will bring balance and peace of mind. The key mantra for the crown chakra, located at the top of your head, is I understand. It means that through persistent soul work, we can gain a deeper understanding of who we are and why we are here. It means honoring our connection to the divine and to divine wisdom. This is not the search for spiritual pursuits for the sake of ego or to appear better or wiser than others. This work is honest and powerful and sometimes a little scary, but completely worth it as we follow our path of personal evolution. So there you go. It doesn't even have to be a healing journey. It can just be your growth. Or, I like this term better. I like this term way better than growth. Personal evolution. It is your personal evolution. But only you get to choose when you evolve. And the reason I say that is because no one can really tell you what to do. Okay? I mean, they may sit there and go, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. But maybe the questions we should be asking is, how much longer do you plan on staying like this? Why are you like this? Why is it so hard for you to get motivated or to keep moving or to stop being lazy or to whatever? You know, it's the questions that we need to ask, not necessarily telling people. And I'm hearing myself say this because I've got a similar issue here. But, sorry. I hope I don't get in trouble for that one later. But the point I'm trying to make is we can't push people into doing something. Some people you can, but most people you cannot without any resistance. You know, sometimes when we know and someone says, well, maybe you should try this. And we're like, yeah, I'm there, and that's what I need to do. But not everybody's there. And the more you try to tell them what to do, the least resistant they're probably, or the more resistant, I should say, they're probably going to be. But when you ask them, when you pose the question to them, maybe once or twice, just say, well, how long do you plan on doing this? Because, you know, this is not healthy for you, or this is not good, or you need, you know, when do you want to get outside? You know, or, and you can strongly, you know, you can kindly and gently suggest, well, maybe you should just get outside for a little bit, you know, go sit outside, go just right outside your door, whatever, you know, get some fresh air. But like I said, when, especially stubborn people, right? And I'm a stubborn person. When people try to tell me to do something, it's kind of like, you know, I'm a little bit better about that now because I think about it. But, you know, when you come down to the really stubborn or the, you know, the people that are just kind of trapped within themselves, and I mean in their mind, you know, when they're just kind of trapped in their brain and, you know, they're swirling in all directions and like a little tornado just going in circles and circles and circles, you know, and they need sometimes that question that says, well, you know, is this how you really want it to be? You know, just something simple and something gentle. So the unicorn magic. The unicorns encourage you to sprinkle lavender essential oil on your bedclothes for a sweeter night's sleep. Lavender protects the crown chakra. It balances, harmonizes, and is a powerful antidepressant. Burn lavender oil during the day to bring beautiful insights and calm the mind. Ooh, I just got an idea. I know. So anyways, so there you go. All right. Lotus flowers are beautiful. If you've never seen one or you're not sure if you've ever seen one, Google it. Okay. Lotus, lotus flower. They're not just beautiful, they're very symbolic. They're very, very symbolic, as you can tell by what we just read, because they are really kind of the plant that says, look, I am this beautiful flower, but I grew from the mud. I grew from the depths. And, you know, we don't give mud enough credit, okay? Because mud, that can be really good for your skin, too, and your pores. But that aside, I mean, I'm not saying go outside and wet your grass and go put mud on your face, okay? But, I mean, if you want, unless you want to. But seriously, the lotus flower is telling you, this is where I started, and this is where I came out. And you have to be brave enough and strong enough to find that journey. And remember, you're not always going to have those strong moments. There are going to be moments, you know, on your journey of your personal evolution where you're just kind of like, what the hell? You know, and you don't feel like the strongest person on the planet. I'm sorry, I got to write personal evolution down because that's just, I love it. I absolutely love that. Excuse me one moment. I'm just going to write it right here in my journal. Personal evolution. So anyways, let's get to I'm going to call it the muddy card because because I feel like this one is for her, but also even if just to make her giggle, but also I think it's good for a lot of people. In fact, it's funny because I said I did the Beltane reading for myself, right, for Friday. So I did it last week, but I'm not going to read it again until Friday. And what was interesting is that this was the fifth card. And the fifth card was representative of, let me see if I can find it in here. I know, see, this is why it's not a proper oracle, because we just kind of do what we do here. All right. I like to keep it interesting, a little bit of something, a whole lot of everything. You know how that goes. So yeah, it was my fifth card. What is ready to be born through me? What is ready to be born through me? And this card came up. And if you know me, you know I have two favorite cards in this deck. This is the main one. Blossom. Cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms bloom for a very short amount of time. Okay, but it's on my bucket list to see cherry blossoms in person, not on pictures, not on trees. I mean, not on trees, of course on trees, not in pictures, not on video, but to really just kind of gather them in my senses in person. But it's very hard because there's a very short window that these beautiful babies bloom. But yes, and look at her face. She's just like, yeah, I'm so happy. I love this card. I love this card. This card's going to stay out for a while. Sometimes when I'm in a sad mood or I'm going through something or I'm spiraling, I will literally put this card up somewhere and keep it out of the deck. So, and Cupcake is the other one. Cupcake, she's so cute. But look at Blossom. See, Muddy Blossom is just saying, look, hi, I know you're low vibing, but we love you. So, it's the start of a fantastic new journey. That was card number 5 for me. The start of a fantastic new journey. All you have to do is accept. Seriously. And when I say accept, it's not like you're giving your life away. You're just saying, I choose to go with the flow. I choose to trust the process, which is very hard for me. If you know me personally, okay, you know how hard it is for me to trust anything and to go with the flow. But these are things that were ingrained in me from a long, long time ago because of holding in secrets and keeping things quiet and not talking about what, traumatized me when I was, little. Keeping it from my parents, keeping it from my friends, keeping it from my family, and just not saying anything. And so even though I have managed to heal that part, the trust part is still something that it's a little, I'm a little clumsy through it. I don't know, for lack of a better word. I'm a little clumsy through it. And going with the flow requires 100% trust. Because you are trusting the next moment without understanding it, without knowing it. And what I think the problem with trust, and the reason I'm sharing this is because I think a lot of us go through this, is that we can't control it. We can't control going with the flow. Going with the flow means think of it as like going whitewater rafting, right? You are not in control of that water. That water is in control of you, but you're learning how to navigate through it. Yeah, you might get tossed out of the raft. Yeah, you may not. Yeah, you might go, yeah, and you might start all over until you don't get tossed out of the raft. That is what personal evolution and growth and healing is all about. It's about going down that whitewater river and saying, you know what? I can't control this river, but I can control how I react to it. I can control how I make it through this journey. And there are people who love whitewater rafting. I would love to do it. Okay, I would love to do it. I'm not sure if it would kill me or not, but send me down a quiet rapid first. But yeah, and that's what's funny is I love that kind of stuff. I love roller coasters. I love amusement park rides. And I think it's because there's a part of me that realizes I'm not in control of this and I love it. So maybe that's what we need to look at it as. I'm literally being hit with a lot of information right now for me saying, yeah, if you love these things and you're not in control of it, just think of life that way. You're not in control of everything. Yeah, there are things you can control, but to what degree? To what end? Trusting the process and going with the flow can be difficult. But just like I said, look at it as something you may like to do that you don't give any thought or mind to. And you just do it. And then you're like, yeah, that was so amazing. Let's go do it again. You know, and I, like I said, the whole roller coaster thing just hit me because I realized, wow, you know what? I love roller coasters, but every time I get on one, I'm literally taking my life in my own hands because you never know what's going to happen. You know, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you don't. And then you get off and it's so exhilarating because you're like, yeah, I survived that. Depending on how dark and deep thinking you think, you know. So anyways, our beautiful girl Blossom. Okay. Sakura, or the Japanese cherry blossom, are ornamental trees revered for their luminous blush pink flowers. They flower in Japan in late March and early April. Sakura are synonymous with joy, celebrations, relaxations, festivals, and contentment. They're also considered the start of a new journey. They're kind of like the starting line of spring, right? They bloom for a little bit and then poof, they're gone. So, you know, but they're saying, yeah, let's do this. They're kind of like that little gunshot right at the beginning of a race. So it's like, here you go. Okay, so the blossoms themselves are used in snack dishes, both sweet and savory. That is interesting. To flavor delicious teas or as beautiful floral display. The cherry blossom's ephemeral nature is seen as a metaphor for the short yet powerful time we are here on Earth. The Japanese custom of hanami is the practice of feasting beneath the cherry blossoms, and one that has been enjoyed for hundreds of years. One must be quick to seize the opportunity because this glorious display only lasts 5 to 7 days. This is the yes card. This is the yes, yes, yes exclamation card. Its energy is one of new opportunities, taking a leap of faith, and enjoying some beginner's luck. The energy of this card is very positive. Blossom is playful and whimsical. It is about approaching possibilities with a light heart and a sense of fun. This unicorn heralds the start of a fantastic new journey, and for this reason is much like the Fool card in the tarot. Have a little faith in the future when Blossom skips into your life. Now, in case, you know, if you're not familiar with the tarot, or you think, oh, the Fool card in the tarot is the very first card of the deck. It's the beginning of the journey. And you know, I'm not really sure they should call it the Fool, but you know, these cards were designed so many years ago, you know, centuries ago. And I think the reason they call it the Fool is not so much because, oh, you're dumb or you're a fool. I think it's because they're starting out on this journey as a blank slate. You know, just kind of like, and some people would call them that. Oh, well, you're a fool for thinking that. Like if someone thinks, you know, high vibing, like imagine Buddha, right? When Buddha went from being a prince to being Buddha, okay? And he's telling all these people that they're like, you're a fool. But he wasn't. Because centuries later, this person is still so revered and still so admired for the peaceful and Zen-like teachings of, you know, just basic principles of life that we all should really kind of highlight in our lives, especially now. So, you know, it's not necessarily the Fool card in the terms that we think of as a fool, but as a, you know, but more as just you're on the beginning of this journey, you know, learn to trust the process, learn to go with the flow. So there you go. There's the Blossom. So the unicorn suggests enjoying a cup of you know, it's like my tongue got swollen all of a sudden. I don't know why. The unicorn suggests enjoying a cup of delicious, savory cherry blossom tea, known as sakura tea. It has a mild, salty taste as it is made by drying and preserving the blossoms in salt. That's interesting. As you sip the cherry blossom tea, write down 5 wonderful things you would like to happen in your future. Watch the magic of the cherry blossoms weave their way into your destiny. Now, if you don't have cherry blossom tea, just imagine it. Maybe pull up a picture while you're doing this. Drink a cup of tea. Drink any cup of tea. Okay? But write down 5 things that you would like to see in your future. The cherry blossom is just for focus. Okay? Because I know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll go hunt some down today because I'm curious about it. I am very, very curious about it. Like, seriously curious about it. So, maybe that'll be my goal for today. I'll hunt some down and then I'll share it with you. So, maybe tomorrow, if I find some today. All right. So, but that's the Blossom card. Anyways, we spent a lot of time on the unicorns, who I love. I'm sorry. I can't help it. She's just so cute. Oh, well, it's nice to see me feeling almost back to being me. All right. Let's do a quick magical fairies because I really want to get to the New Orleans deck, but something keeps saying do that last. We're only going to shuffle 3 times. If nothing comes out, that's that. Yeah, right? I know. Muddy is curious about cherry blossom tea too. I am too. But, I don't want to find it on Amazon because I don't know why. I probably could go onto Amazon and go, hey, look at that, cherry blossom tea. But we have a little Asia. Well, I know in other countries, Asia is Mideastern. So we have they call it the Asian district out here, but it's like Korean, Japanese, Chinese. The Vietnamese actually have their own little area in 2 different parts of the city, but there is also some Vietnamese influence there, but most of it is Korean and Chinese and Japanese. And it's just this one big area, or actually 2 big main roads, like Claremont Mesa Boulevard and Balboa Avenue have a lot of them, have a lot of the shops, the stores, and all these things. So, yeah, it'll be a tiny adventure today, but we're going to do it. All right. All right. Oh, spiritual teacher. Your life purpose involves teaching others about healing and spirituality. I like that. I feel like maybe, is this for me? Oh, see? Sammy says we have a huge Asian district here as well. Yeah, see? And she lives in Georgia. But, I mean, come on. If you really look around, okay, so I'm going to soapbox this for a second. Everybody always complains about all these people coming into the country. Oh, this, that. But look at all the influences we have, right? All the Mexican food. And I'm sorry, but Southern California has the best Mexican food. Arizona and Texas and New Mexico may argue that. But I'm a little biased. But I'm partial. Although the chimichanga was invented in Arizona. And that's one of my favorites. In fact, though, I'm kind of sad because that restaurant, the original restaurant, burned down. And, oh my God. But I got to eat there. And I was just so excited because it was like, if you know me, I love a good chimichanga. And, which is basically a burrito, which is deep fried. But it was an accident by the abuela. The abuela was just kind of like, she was making it. She accidentally dropped it in the oil looking for something else. And her grandson on the show I was watching said, yeah, it's actually kind of, she kind of said like a swear word in Spanish, but we just kind of fixed it a little bit and called it this. And so there it was born. Wow. Sammy says at one point in time, I was told we had the largest Korean community outside of Korea. That's interesting. I mean, in the South, right? I don't know why, but I kind of feel like Asians would migrate to like New York or San Francisco, where we have a large Japanese community and, and Chinese community, or like, even Southern California, where we have large areas of Asian districts. But that's kind of interesting that it was the South. But it also, no, because that's the Japanese people. Japanese people love Western culture. And a lot of them love, like every so often I'll be rolling through like my YouTube and I'll see these cute little videos of Japanese people just like doing line dances. And it's like, oh my God, it's so cute. But, and I don't mean cute like, I'm being kind of like, oh, look how cute that is. No, I mean, it's adorable because it's just, they're so happy. They're so happy. Like we could learn a lot from Asian culture, and how to just kind of not take our, and I know they take themselves seriously, but I mean for us not to take ourselves so seriously, here in this country, just, keep an open mind, keep this beautiful mindset out there. All right. And maybe that's where spiritual teacher comes in, because I'm trying to teach you how to be spiritual. Hi. But, seriously, but yeah, I mean, why do we have to be angry at everything? I get angry at things. I get angry at sports. I mean, I was so mad the other night. I said, you know what? If I have to come back to this earth in the next life, I hope I don't come back a sports fan. That'll never happen. I love my sports. I love hockey. I love baseball. I love football. I watch tennis from time to time. I watch golf from time to time. I love playing golf. I'm terrible at tennis. And that's the funny part about tennis. I have no control. When I first learned how to play tennis in high school, because it was part of PE, I literally served the ball. I was so we had one court here, and I grew up playing baseball and softball. And so I went to serve the ball and it went into the next courts over the fence. So, and I was serving it over him. It's like, okay, that is not going to work. I eventually got a little bit control. But two of my best friends in high school were both on the tennis team, and they, bless their hearts, they tried so hard. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because we weren't consistent at it, but it's kind of sad because like from my window, even though the tree's in the way, I can see the tennis courts down there right next to the pool. So anyways, that's my life. But spiritual teacher. I know. See, this is what I mean. You get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. And no, my coffee is not loaded. This is decaf. This is just me. So anyways, because, I know for the last month I've been kind of like, bleh. But, oh my gosh, I just noticed. Look at all the cute little animals in the picture. Oh, they're all down here. And it's kind of circling around her. That is so pretty. So cute. So again, your life purpose involves teaching others about healing and spirituality. So you may think, well, that's too metaphysical for me. Actually, it's not. My mother was very, very Catholic, and my mother was a spiritual teacher. She got a lot of her nieces and nephews to get baptized in this church. It's funny because I feel like if my mom was born in the South, she probably would have been a Baptist, and she would have been a hell of a Baptist. Because sometimes the show my dad and I watch right now, I just think, God, that's like my mother. But my mom was very Catholic, and her faith got her through a lot of her own difficulties growing up, and even as an adult, right? But it also helped other people get through their difficulties. She would minister to them, and I took that for granted growing up because you got to remember, I come from a blended family of sorts. And by that, I mean religious-wise. My father grew up in a very strict religion and decided he's going to be an agnostic atheist. All right. I know that makes no sense to people that are hearing it. If you've heard me before, some days there's something out there, other days there's not. So he's just an agnostic atheist to me. And my mom was very Catholic. So I grew up questioning a lot of things. I grew up wondering about a lot of things. So my religious upbringing was a little strict, but at the same time, rather eye-opening, because my father made sure that even though my mom had control of me till I was out of high school, religion-wise, that I also questioned things, like, why is this? Why can't we just be this? But I was always raised by both of them to be a good person. And so when we talk about being a spiritual teacher, it's not necessarily just about, God. Okay, because when we were talking about one of the other cards, it said, you can pray, you can do meditation. If you're not a religious person, or you're, maybe you're more of a spiritual person. I'm more of a spiritual person now. Okay, I mean, I will always be Catholic. And with the last two popes, the last one and this one, I absolutely love reclaiming my Catholicism because I love their messages. I absolutely love their messages. And they align with how I feel, but I'm still a lapsed Catholic. I rarely, if ever, go to church. But I find my spirituality in the world. I find my spirituality through this show and the things I talk about with people and the things I share. And I think that's basically what it is. It's not necessarily religion-based. It's ministering to people with your love, with your kindness, with your empathy, your compassion, your understanding. It's sitting next to the person in the park that just suddenly starts talking to you. Some people will sit there and just strike up a conversation. Other people are like, oh, would you look at that? I have to get back to work. And they may be lonely. They may be reaching out. And then that one person sits with them and they talk and they talk and they talk. That's ministering to someone. That's being there for someone. Or maybe you see that person that just looks completely forlorn, that just starts talking, you might reach out to them. Are you okay? And if they talk to you, maybe, they may not want to talk. Or they may say, I'm really not. And you might say, hey, do you want to talk? And you may never see that person again, but you've just ministered to them. Not because you brought religion into it, but because you brought spirituality into it. Spirituality, in my opinion, I'm not sure what the definition in the dictionary is, but to me, spirituality is the main things. It's compassion and empathy. It's listening. It's communicating. Because we want to be there for the other soul. We want to sit there and, treat them the way we would hope someone would treat us if we're in that moment of crisis or that moment of pain or even just like with Muddy right now, just low vibing, you know, just not feeling it today. So, you drew this card because you've asked about your life purpose and career direction. That is so weird. I asked about that the other night when I was saying my nightly prayers. This card indicates that you're a born teacher who gives advice and information to strangers, friends, and family members. Your natural counseling and teaching abilities will serve you well in a professional way. It may start out on a part-time basis and build up a full-time career. If you need additional skill training, your inner guidance will direct you. Ask the fairies to help you with this training, including paying for it, and they'll open doors for you in many ways. Additional meanings for this card. Investigate a career as a counselor or psychologist. Write articles or books and submit them to publishers. A message about a spiritual teacher validates your intuition. Give a workshop. Start charging money for your counseling or healing sessions. Now, this is one thing I was thinking about the other day. Okay, I think we're going to talk about this. But I just wanted to say, people will say, well, if this is supposed to be a gift, why do people charge for it? Because it is their gift and they're sharing it with you. I think when people gouge you, that's a problem. Or when they come up and make shit up, you know, because there are bad people in this world. You know what? We're going to talk about that this week. That's going to be more of a soapboxy thing. But, because I have people come to me and ask me to do readings for them, and they're my friends, but they're like, I'll pay you. And it's like, no, I don't want you to pay me. You know, because they're my friends. But it's sweet that they offer that. You know, it's kind. And I don't mind doing it. Because, you know, it's like they don't ask me what kind of reading. They're just like, could you pull some cards for me? And it's just like, yeah, absolutely. In fact, Sammy, if you want me to do... never mind. Never mind. We're... yeah. All right. Sorry. I'm thinking out loud. So anyways, but like I said... This basically said everything I just said to you. But if you want to be a spiritual teacher, if you want to go out and do those things, you know, I know people like to make fun of life coaches, but I actually have, believe it or not, I actually have a class for life coaching. And I really should probably do it. I have a regular one and a master class. Because I figure it's no different from what I'm doing on here. Right? It's, you know, and I don't, for as long as I feel like doing this show, I want to do this show, regardless of who watches it, who doesn't watch it. But I do feel called to be of service to something more, you know, and I think that's what we need to listen to. I mean, I love writing. Writing is my passion. Drama was my second passion. But having done this show, it's like a little bit of both of those comes into that. Being able to talk on camera, being able to just kind of do research on things that, you know, I want to talk about, and then just being able to kind of, you know, just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say vomit it out, but it's like spitting out flowers, you know, but I think that's part of my writer's mind. And I guess I never really thought about that until this card came up, you know? So I guess the point I'm trying to make, is that we may have a focus and a direction that we want to be on, but don't make it so rigid that you can't see the other things that might be trying to align with your passion. Okay, because your passion may be living itself out and you may not be realizing it because you're so focused, you're so hyper-focused on one particular ending that you're not thinking about the wider part. The interesting thing about this, though, is about a month or so ago, I did a house cleansing for a friend of mine. And he just looked at it and he says, you need to write your book. And I'm like, well, I am writing. He's all, no. He's all, I feel the spiritual book coming out of you. But he's all, I don't know what it's about. But he's all, I know you're going to do it. And I know you can do it. And I kept thinking, no, because I got to finish the fictional story I'm writing on. But now that I've seen this card, you know, I realize, okay, you know, and my friend Armand, and he's just like, yeah, he's just like, you know, he's all, Shelley, I feel this book coming out of you. And I don't think I understood that until right now. So to one of my, he really is one of my best friends. I absolutely adore him and love him. He's just, you know, sometimes we'll talk on the phone for just hours, just laughing and giggling. And, you know, even sometimes when I'm home, older sibling will be like, who are you talking to? Because it's just good to hear you laugh. And yeah, we get so crazy. I've known him for a gazillion years, met him through Bestie, but you know, I'm very blessed to have the people that I have in my life, you know, from, you know, older sibling to Muddy to baby sibling to all my cousins that I communicate with quite frequently. to all my friends and, just family. So, ooh, thank you for the validation, Muddy. She says, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking a spiritual book for you too, as we were talking about this. Muddy, thank you for that. Thank you. See, that's validation, kids. Now, here's the thing. Everyone sits there and goes, no, we can't believe in this because it's the devil's work. It is not the devil's work. Sometimes God speaks to you through different things. Let me tell you one thing. When I first started learning the tarot, my mother about had a conniption fit. I thought that was going to kill her. I didn't think cancer would kill her. I thought I was going to kill her by accident. But because I was getting very into like the witchy things, which I admit. Okay, I don't really put titles on myself, but lots of people like to. But my spiritual side, my extremely spiritual side, and the things that I do look into that are pagan-like. And, religion took a lot from paganism and just, kind of religified it. Okay, I'm just making up words now. But, but that's my point, is that, it's not about coming down on people for what they believe in. As long as you work in a good place, I don't care what you believe in. When you start going rogue and you start being bad and start wishing bad things, I don't mean like, oh my God, I can't stand that person, or oh, that stupid trash. No, not like that. When you physically go out of your way to hurt people with your gifts, we got a problem. And I will be there to protect my people and the people that come to me from people like that. Okay? So, like a white hat and a black hat, right? I know. But to be honest with you, I kind of wish that the good guys wore the black hats, because the black hats are way cooler looking than the white hats. The white hats are kind of goofy. Unless you're like Gene Autry or Roy Rogers or John Wayne, then it's cool. But otherwise, yeah, no. So, I know, it's like, you're all shut up. Anyways, but yeah, so... but that's what I was going to say. When I first started doing the tarot, I bought a book to try to understand it. And the guy actually referred to God all the time. I even showed it to my mom. And I told her, I said, look, what you see in the movies, portrayed in the movies, is nowhere near the truth. It's just, people are afraid of that. And so people will use it to make horror movies. But, learn the truth. All right. Don't just look at something and take face value off of it. Learn the truth, read for yourself, look for yourself. And if you still want to think it's the devil's work, then I don't know what to tell you. So, whatever. So anyways, look at that. So I had a thought, a validation, and now success. Whee! So if you're seeing this, success. Let's see what isn't she great? She just, oh my God, she's just so happy. I love her. I love this deck. Like I said, this is one of my favorite decks. So success can often feel like a fleeting goal if we become too fixed on accomplishing a small... Oh my God. This is so validation of what I was just saying. See, tell me this is not divine intervention. Success can often feel like a fleeting goal if we become too fixated on accomplishing a specific outcome in a specific way. Hyper-focused. True success is not measured by outer accomplishments, but by inner feelings that indicate personal growth and movement in the right direction. This card has shown up in your reading because although you may not yet have reached your goal in its entirety, there are many smaller milestones, signs, opportunities you have experienced that are proof you have been on the right track. By remembering to take a moment to appreciate and celebrate these large and small markers, the energy of gratitude and inspiration will eventually lead you to where you want to be. It may help you realize it may already be there and are ready for something new. So don't be so hyper-focused. Allow yourself to have side quests, all right? You have the adventure, but it's okay to do a side quest. It is okay to do a side quest. So the next one. Ooh, share your gifts. Boy. I'm getting pumped. Yeah. So everyone that feels like me that's going, I can do this, do it. Just do it. Okay, and if one person says, nope, try the next one. All right, there are a million publishers out there. I'm going to give you a weird example, okay, but 50 Shades of Grey. E.L. James went to so many publishers, everyone's all, nope, that's too smutty for us, sorry. But she self-published it, and then it did so well, a publisher picked her up and said, okay, we really want to work with you. After everybody kept turning her down, right? Because they didn't think it would sell. I don't know if you ever heard of fairy smut. Probably not the right time to bring this up, but they call it that because it's just, you know, like metaphysical books that get a little racy. Yeah. I got no problem with that. So I like a good book. And I'm not going to be prissy about it. I like classic books, and I like books that, you know, some people may find questionable. But that's me. So anyways, because, you know, it's reading. At least I'm reading. So anyways, share your gifts. Share your gifts. And I like it. It's number 8, so it's infinity. Jackson Square. Jackson Square. That's a very famous square in New Orleans, by the way. Show the world what you're working with. Although Jackson Square is a historical landmark, today it is also New Orleans' foremost showcase for people looking to share their creative gifts and natural talents. Whether their specialty is fancy food, artistic masterpieces, or intuitive readings, everyone wants to see and be seen in Jackson Square. You've pulled this card because your creative side is calling for more freedom to be shown out in the world. Creativity doesn't have to be limited to activities like painting or singing. You can write, make jewelry, or create anything that you feel moved to create. There is no need for a ready-made place to share your gifts. The more that you choose to do, the more space the universe will make for you to share. So do it. Share your gifts. Whether you work with your hands and it's just a hobby or whatever it is, put it out into the world. Let the world see it. Let the world be moved by the things that you do and inspired by you. You know, you may think that you offer nothing to this world, but everybody offers something to this world. It's just, I think sometimes we just want to be YouTube famous for it. And, you know, that's not always going to happen for people. But here's the thing. When we go out into the world and we plant our seeds and we share our gifts, you're touching lives. You are touching lives. Your friends' lives. You know, my dad and I were talking about It's a Wonderful Life last night, right? And, you know, it's just one of those things. Imagine if, you know, how different this world would be without you in it. And I think it would be worse off if you were not in it. So you being in it is wonderful. And whether I know you or not, I thank you for being in this world. I truly do. I know all my people, you know, the people in my tribe, I thank you for being in my world. So the last one, number 5, elusive priestess. I don't know. The elusive priestess is the embodiment of the obvious not being so obvious. She is an entity that you know but may not have proof of, and the words that would allow you to make a clear-cut decision if only they were spoken out loud. The situation that you are thinking of has much learning potential for you. However, your focus has been placed on details that will not help you gain the forward movement you desire. Hyperfocus. What is your goal, and how can you work towards that goal within your own power? There are some immovable energies at work, and you will likely consider to be the preferred way. The good news is that you have everything that you need to move forward if you're willing to let go of how you have believed things should be. So it's all about going with the flow, guys. It really is. Trust the process. Go with the flow. Whether you are religious or spiritual or neither of those, it still doesn't mean that we can't be compassionate, we can't be empathetic, we can't be understanding. That's what all these things are about. If you want to go out and be a spiritual teacher, or you want to write that book, or you want to create that drama thing, or you want to go out and do something, don't be so hyper-focused on the goal at the end. Allow yourself to see the big picture. Allow yourself to see the broad picture in things. Because I think that's what we miss a lot of times. We become so hyper-focused on that single goal that we forget, again, there's so many side quests that we could be doing, so many different things that we may already be doing. I mean, I do Ho'oponopono things, you know, healing for people. And I have a teeny business on that. But, you know, I never think about that. It's just kind of a side thing that my cousin told me to put up there. And I have a few steady clients. And I was just kind of like, huh, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, huh, look at that. You know, and I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for that. So anyways, I hope that today's thing helped. Because I feel like there was a lot of stuff coming out of there and going out of there that I think can really kind of help guide people in different ways, in different, on your journeys, on your path. So yeah, so just, you know, think about that for a little bit. Okay. Give yourself the opportunity to step back and look at the bigger picture and not be so hyper focused on just one ending. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. You can also find me on YouTube, TikTok, and across the social media board. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Muddy, thank you for popping on. I don't see everybody that pops on, so if you came on and I didn't see you and I didn't acknowledge, I do apologize, and I thank you, and I appreciate you coming on as well. So have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.